Castleton is a honeypot village in the High Peak district of Derbyshire, England. The village lies within the Peak district at the western end of the Hope Valley on the Peakshole Water, a tributary of the River Noe. The village is situated between the areas known as the Dark Peak and the White Peak. Castleton's population was 649 at the 2001 census. History. Castleton village was mentioned as Petrus's in Domesday Book in 1086 where Ornbium and Hunding held the land of William Peveril's castle in Castleton. This land and Peveril's castle were amongst the manors belonging to William Peveril that also included Bolsover and Glarpwell. St Edmunds Norman Church was restored about 1837. It has late 13th century tracery and an ashlar-faced perpendicular tower. Its box pews are dated 1661, 1662, 1663 and 1676. A medieval leper hospital is thought to have been on the eastern boundary of Castleton, though some locals believe it to have been just south of the Speedwell Cavern footpath from the village. Sheffield University archaeologists are investigating a Euro castle of the Pecca Euro unregistered trademark, which was reputedly founded by the wife of one of the William Peverils before 1153, and continued until about the 1543 dissolution. They say the earliest documents referring to Spitalfield are a grant and a charter from the early 14th century. They are also investigating the 12th century planned town at the foot of the Castle Hill. Castleton later prospered from lead mining. The Odin Mine, one of the oldest lead mines in the country, is situated 1.5 kilometers west of the village. This created and enlarged local caverns, 4 of which are now open to the public as Peak Cavern, Blue John Cavern, Speedwell Cavern and Tree Cliff Cavern. A small amount of Blue John is mined locally. Since the 1920s the main mineral industry in the area has been cement. Hope Cement Works is closer to Hope, but its quarry is closer to Castleton. Geography. Castleton is situated between the Gritstone Plateau of the Dark Peak to the north and the gentler limestone scenery of the White Peak to the south. It lies at the western end of the Hope Valley and consequently is surrounded on 3 sides by hills. Most prominent is the ridge to the north. This is called Great Ridge. It runs east from Mam Tor to Back Tor and Lewes Hill, via the pass of Holland's Cross, where paths from many directions converge and cross over to Adale. Road communications. Castleton used to be on the A625 road from Sheffield to Chapel en la Frith, on the way to Manchester. Leaving Castleton, the Western Road used to go over Mam Tor, but after continual collapses and repairs it was eventually abandoned. The only westbound exit from Castleton is now the unclassified road over the narrow Winnats, now more frequently called Winnats Pass. This road is very narrow and steep, and unsuitable for heavy vehicles or high volumes. Road signage has been designed to discourage through traffic. Only local destinations are shown. Thus most traffic enters and leaves the village on the eastern road. For traffic going west this involves a long diversion via the villages of Bradwell and Peak Forest. Public transport. Castleton is a small bus station from where buses depart hourly to Sheffield and to Tidyswell and Bakewell. A few less frequent bus services also serve Castleton, including services 68, 5, to Buxton and 174, 6, from Baslow, which run just once a day, 200, 7, on school days to Chapel en la Frith and Adale and 276, 8, on Fridays to Chesterfield. There is no railway station, but Hope Station is about 3 kilometers away, and train tickets to Hope and Adale are valid on connecting buses to Castleton. Photo gallery. Tourism. Castleton attracts large numbers of tourists, and there are many pubs, tea shops and guest houses to supply their needs. There is also a large car park, an information centre, several outdoors shops and a youth hostel. Many schools visit the area for educational studies such as GCSE coursework. It is also a major walking centre, where routes up Cave Dale, Winnats Pass, Mam Tor and Holland's Cross meet. There are 4 show caves to visit and at least one of them is open all year. Castleton has a combined post office and general shop. Events. On Castleton Garland Day, a garland king is paraded around the streets wearing an extremely large garland of flowers, followed by local girls dressed in white with flowers. The village is also famous for its display of Christmas lights and decorations during the festive season. Famous people: Isaac Ambrose, a Puritan author, was a churchman here in 1627. William Dawkins, found important fossils near Castleton. Charles Rowe, industrialist, was born here in 1715. Dringe, a two-piece blues rock band. Walking: Castleton is popular with walkers, there is plenty of accommodation, and there are many public footpaths leading from the village. There are easy walks along the river to Hope, Braw, Bamford and Hethersage, and there is a short strenuous walk up onto the Great Ridge, where views can be enjoyed before descending to a dale or returning to Castleton. Hayfield is a short day's walk away beyond Rush Up Edge. A 2 or 3 day trail, the Limestone Way, starts in Castleton and runs south down Cave Dale before climbing out of the village and heading for Monash, Yulgrave, and Matlock. In fiction, the village was featured in Episode 3 of Most Haunted, Midsummer Murders, where the team investigates the 18th-century murder of an engaged couple. Much of the investigation takes place in Speedwell Cavern. One of the conspirators, James Ashton, is said to have confessed to the murders on his deathbed after being haunted by dead couple. He also implicated others involved. Castleton also featured in national news reports in the early 1980s following the murder of Susan Reinhardt near the battlements of Peveril Castle. The local underground caves were used as the filming location for The Underworld, ruled by the Evil Lady of the Green Kirtle, in the 1990 BBC adaptation of The Silver Chair. Cave Dale features in the films The Princess Bride and The Other Boleyn Girl. The town is also featured briefly in the play The Devil is an Ass by Ben Jonson, first performed in 1616. References. External links: Derbyshire Guide, Piggott's 1835 Directory, maps, photos and descriptions of mineral localities around Castleton, Derbyshire, caves in Castleton, Derbyshire.